that's when the miracle happened. This works so well. In fact, I now call spirulina brain food. Your brain has the most mitochondria. There's 2 million mitochondria per cell. Trillions of cells in your body, and there's 2 million mitochondria per cell in your brain. It's the most nutrient-dense food in the world. It's been endorsed by NASA and the United Nations for 50 years as being the answer to world hunger, the most nutrient-dense food in the world. 100,000 studies documenting all the healing benefits of spirulina and chlorella algae. It's been used daily in Asia.
I have loved spirulina since day one. I was making spirulina smoothies and juices in 2010.
Louise Hay was an author who I'd read so many books of.
My idol.
And at the time she was still alive, and so I was trying to figure out, how am I going to do this thing about plant-based nutrition? She was doing a one-day seminar in New York City about finding your path.
Oh my gosh, how amazing.
I know.
You got to see her live.
I did.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy that we made this happen.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been in contact with your team at least for, I want to say 8 years, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
So this is a long time coming, and I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
are we rolling, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's dive on in and just tell us a little bit about you.
About me. I'm so used to talking about algae, not me.
I know. I'm going to get you talking about you today.
So I'm Canadian, although I've lived in the United States for, almost 40 years. And I mention that because the only family I have are still in Canada. All my education was in Canada. I did an MBA. Well, actually, I got my PhD recently, and that was down here. So
cool. Where?
So well, it was actually an online college called Kingdom College of Natural Health, and because I'd taught myself so much about algae by reading thousands and thousands of articles in scientific articles in PubMed, and then I was speaking at all these conferences, but a lot of places that were more medically oriented wouldn't let me speak because I wasn't an MD or a PhD. And they didn't believe I knew my stuff. So I thought, okay, well, I'll show you I do. And so
I'll become a doctor.
Yeah, that's right. So so I'm Canadian. Very proud of being Canadian, but very, very happy to be living in the United States. Been in Boston, Massachusetts for 35, 40 years. Moved recently to Miami because I got tired of being cold. And I'm in this lovely neighborhood called Coconut Grove, which is full of trees and marinas. So very happy there. And I don't know, I've had an international business career. I was in the interior design industry for 10 years. So I've always loved business, and I've always loved the arts. And I'm also very passionate about anything I do. If I don't do something unless I'm really in 110%.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You seem like a very passionate person.
Yeah.
What's your sign? When's your birthday?
I'm Virgo.
Oh,
I am
that makes a ton of sense because Virgos
classic Virgo. Virgo's very service oriented, which I've always been.
So hardworking.
Hardworking, perfectionist. Loves to involved with health. So I am a classic Virgo.
Yeah, you're living what you came here to live.
Yeah.
So how did you pivot into algae and health just in general?
Yeah. Well, I had a nice corporate career, and then 17 years ago, my younger sister, who I'm very close to because I only have two sisters, developed breast cancer. First of all, I want you to know she completely healed, but her oncologist, which is a cancer specialist, told her that as she was preparing for chemo, she needed to change her diet to an alkaline diet. Now, they didn't tell her, and this would probably never have happened in America. And in Canada, maybe the pharmaceutical industry isn't quite as pervasive. And also, her oncologist was a woman. And women tend to be more interested and open to nutritional things. So we were very lucky that it was in Canada, and her oncologist was a female. So, but she didn't tell her what an alkaline diet was, just that she needed one. So she got home, and the first call she made was to me, her big sister. And I had no idea what an alkaline diet was, but I loved my sister, and I said, I will find out. And it was a plant-based diet, and it was primarily because of the phytonutrients and the chlorophyll that have been proven to build your immune system. And because my sister was going through chemo, she wanted her to have a strong immune system. But then as I read more, it turns out there was a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg back in the 30s who discovered that cancer cannot live in cells that are alkaline. So I have to assume that was the other reason why she wanted her to have an alkaline diet. So anyways, I found lots of foods for her. She changed her diet. She went through chemo. She completely healed. Meanwhile, I started reading more and more about alkaline diets, plant-based nutrition. Now, this was 17 years ago, and nobody was talking about plant-based nutrition
Totally.
then. It was
17 years ago,
not on
definitely
anybody's
before your time.
radar. I had started learning about the science. Now, I had never studied science before, but I was mesmerized by what I was reading, and I thought, why don't people know about this? And because I'm a very action-oriented, problem-solving girl, I thought, I should tell the world about this. So
Yeah.
I thought, but I don't know how. I don't know. What should I do? So Louise Hay was an author who I'd read
She's the
so
best.
many books
She's
of.
my idol.
Unbelievable. And at the time she was still alive. And so I was trying to figure out, how am I going to do this thing about plant-based nutrition? And I found out, because I was living in Boston, she was doing a one-day seminar in New York City about finding your path.
Oh my gosh, how amazing.
I know.
You
So I
got
thought,
to see her live.
I did. So I
dream.
thought, maybe this will help me. So I got on a bus and I went down to New York, and I hadn't even gone into the conference. I just lined up to get a coffee or tea, actually, at Starbucks. And in the line for the tea, a woman in front of me, I heard bits of her conversation. She was talking to somebody else. I heard little snippets about holistic nutrition, fantastic education. And I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, what are you talking about? And it was this school called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And I said, wow, that sounds great. Maybe I should check it up. So she gave me the website, and I just I wrote it down, and then I went into the conference and had a great time, learning so much. And the next day when I got back to Boston, I looked up this Institute for Integrative, IIN, and they were just closing registration. The next course was to start like in 2 weeks. And I applied, got accepted, and I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I took a bus every weekend.
Oh, wow.
Because it was still live then. I was in the second last class.
Oh, how
and
cool.
There were 1,600 of us. It was held at Avery Fisher Hall, which is Lincoln Center in New York City, if anybody knows. And it was the most powerful experience I have ever gone through. Every class was like a blend of a combination of a rock concert and an Oprah show.
That's so fun.
We did, we learned a lot. We had all these different, anyways, it was fantastic.
That sounds amazing.
So when I finished that, I thought, okay, I've got all this great education now. What do I do with it? I thought, okay, I'll put my own course together and I'll teach plant-based nutrition. So I did that, and I taught it at corporations and hospitals so people could understand the importance of eating plants, because that's what I had learned. But I found out that everybody knew they should eat more vegetables, but there were too many obstacles. It gave them gas, or they went bad too quickly, or their kids wouldn't eat vegetables, or they didn't live near a grocery store. 1,000 reasons. So I thought, and this is what truly led me to algae. So I thought, okay, I've seen the science of the importance of plant-based nutrition, but if I can't get people to eat vegetables, I need to find a way to get the nutrition into them without the vegetables. I had no idea how I would do that, but I just went back to everything I'd found for my sister. And when I got to algae, that's when the miracle happened, because it's the most nutrient-dense food in the world. It's been endorsed by NASA and the United Nations for 50 years as being the answer to world hunger, the most nutrient-dense food in the world. There's 100,000 studies documenting all the healing benefits of spirulina and chlorella algae. It's been used daily in Asia. For over 60 years. It's grown as an agricultural crop there in fresh water. Yes, there's algae in the ocean, but all the algae, whether you algae tablets or little tiny baby tablets, whether you buy them from us or from Whole Foods, they're grown in fresh water, and which makes it this is very important, because it protects them from all the toxins in the ocean. Anyways, it turned out that because they came in little tiny tablets about the size of a baby aspirin, each tablet, and I went through the science, has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. And you can either swallow them or chew them. So while I'm talking to you right now, I had a plate of vegetables.
Oh my God.
This is the future of fast food. You get 64% protein, 40 vitamins and minerals, all the phytonutrients, all the chlorophyll, all the pigments, all the antioxidants, micronutrients, macronutrients, effortlessly. You can swallow them, you can chew them.
Wow. Okay,
And
a couple
that's
of questions.
how I became in love with algae.
Amazing.
Because how effortless it is, science-based, proven and used in Asia for 60 years. And in America, they just don't know about it. It wasn't available in tablets until recently. And I also realized a lot of the tablets that were available were not high quality. So we made sure that ours was pure, and our production process preserves all the nutrients. So yeah, this is the future of fast food.
Oh my gosh, how exciting is that? Okay, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
We're going to go back to the Louise Hay event because I want to hear more about what it was like to go see her in person. She's one of my idols, of course.
And for anyone who doesn't know Louise, she started Hay House Publishing, which is the leading publisher of spiritual books, nutrition books, self-help books. She's published every major, influential, important individual who helps others find their path. Marianne Williamson,
and she was ahead
Wayne
of her
Dyer,
time.
and she
very
didn't
ahead
start
of her time.
Her company until she was in her 50s.
Yes,
and I didn't start my company until I was in my 50s either.
Oh my gosh, look at that! That's so cool.
So it just shows you, and I want to encourage other women.
Absolutely.
Society says there's a expiry date on our forehead, and after 50 it's downhill. I'm in my 70th year. I just turned 69, so this is my 70th year.
Exactly.
And this is my own hair, no extensions.
Beautiful.
I don't use Botox. It's my own teeth. I don't have any medications. I have no chronic diseases. I take no other supplements. I only take spirulina and chlorella algae every day. And I got my PhD last year. So I want
reinvent yourself at
women
any
to
age.
know you can live well as you age. It doesn't have to does not have to go down. It can go up.
Yes,
it can go up. What a concept, right?
I love to hear it.
Level.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you just turned 69, wait, you're gonna be 69?
I am 69.
Yeah.
So I'm in my 70th
were you born
year.
in 1955? 56. My mom's 1954.
Okay.
So you guys would get along. She's also so youthful. Nobody believes that she is 71. You both look incredible.
But she obviously takes care of herself.
very good care of herself.
And I attribute a lot of my health to algae, but I also live a very holistic life. I prioritize sleep. I get exercise. I don't do hardcore gym stuff anymore, although I do love Zumba. But I do yoga, and I walk, and I lift weights. And I make sure I get sunlight, and I don't eat sugar. So I'm healthy in many ways. And I also want to encourage people to understand it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. All the things that are really the best for us and at any age are natural. They're from nature.
It's true.
Right? Sunlight's from nature. Breath is from nature. Sleep is a natural thing. Algae was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago, and it's documented. So it's a foundation of nature. So
it can be so simple.
I'd love to meet your mom because
I know.
We
I wish
need
she
more
was here. She sometimes
role
comes
models,
with me.
right?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy that we're having this conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
And then can kids take this product?
Absolutely. And I know I have lots of mothers who work for us and they have children, and there's no drug interactions. Your pets, your children, newborns, pets love.
Oh my
this
God, I'm
stuff.
going to give this to my cat.
Yeah, they'll go crazy. Just to forewarn you, they will want more. I have a friend who has 5 calico cats. She lives in a brownstone. It's like 4 stories, and she can be in the kitchen opening the bag, and the cats, if they're on the top floor, they can hear it, and they will run down all the stairs and weave in and out of her feet, waiting for their...
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Cats are phenomenal with their intuition and their scent.
Yeah.
My cat, we have so many health products for him.
Yeah.
We have colostrum for him.
Oh, wow.
We get it all at Erewhon. Like, he is the healthiest cat.
Yeah.
So he'll be obsessed.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
this is so good because I have a 3.5-year-old and a 15-month-old. And my 3.5-year-old hates vegetables. Hates vegetables, which is crazy because he used to be vegan. We were raising him vegan.
Yeah.
Then we kind of stopped being vegan and introduced some other things.
Yeah.
And now he won't eat vegetables.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you were a baby, that was the only food that you ate and you loved it.
Yeah. And the kids actually love to chew them because it turns their tongues green.
Oh, he's going to love
that. And it becomes a game. So you can give them as many as you want, but generally we say the number of their age or up to their age. So, so if they're 5 or 6, give them 3 to 6. If they're 10, give them 5 to 10. They can have more if they want, but generally that's a good enough number. And for adults, 10 tablets will start you off, but 20 or 30 is more of a therapeutic amount.
So 10 at a time, or do you do these like throughout the day?
Well, the spirulina, and we can talk about the difference, it gives you energy, satisfies your hunger, improves your focus. So usually you're tired and hungry and want energy during the day. So they're great to take in the morning, have a pouch of 30 for lunch, especially if anyone's
30?
on it.
For lunch? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 1 calorie per tablet. And highest protein in the world, 40 vitamins and minerals, can replace almost all your other supplements. But a little pouch of 30, that only spirulina satisfies your hunger, not the chlorella. But that's why we call it spirulina EnergyBits, because it gives you energy mentally and physically. And if anyone's on a GLP-1, please take these every day, because you're not eating enough or at all, and you can lose all your muscle. And this has the highest protein in the world that will protect that. So it's a great pre-workout. Chlorella, we'll talk about it later on. It's a wellness algae. It pulls out toxins, heavy metals, glyphosate, pesticide, alcohol, lactic acid, and it repairs your body. And your body goes through a detox repair cycle when you're sleeping. So it's best to take before bed, but you could take it any time of day. But
kids can take chlorella.
Absolutely, yeah. But and most adults we find swallow the spirulina because it's so chewy because of the protein. They don't like it. But if you like greens,
I love the taste
you'll
of
probably
spirulina.
You'll probably love.
I'm obsessed with the taste.
I chew them, and I sprinkle sea salt on mine just to give it a little, And I have a flavor. It's salt and vinegar, and it's a Himalayan salt, sea salt.
That sounds
so it gives
so
it a
good.
little sort of bite to it, and it tastes great with pistachio nuts. I also have a brand. It's called Wonderful. You can buy them in Whole Foods or Amazon, and it's a salt and vinegar flavor. So use it mixed up as a trail mix. The spirulina,
what a good idea!
With the pistachio
healthiest
nuts.
trail mix ever with spirulina.
Yeah. And macadamia nuts, even more incredible.
Ooh, yum.
You think you're eating potato chips. The flavor is off the charts, particularly for the chlorella. So,
what a good idea. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Just get them into your body, and again, you can have as many as you want. I try not. I stopped telling people how many I take because I don't want them to think they have to have that many. I just love them so much. I'll eat them all day long, and then I'll have a proper meal.
Wow, really?
So, yeah.
So do you kind of intermittent fast throughout the day?
Yeah.
You eat these, and then you have dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
That's amazing. And you have the energy and the life force.
Yes, yeah, and they are high vibrational foods. There's no carbs, so they're ketogenic. There's no lectins or oxalates, so if anybody is worried about that, there's not any, because lectins or oxalates are found in plants, especially things like spinach and kale. And the plants develop them to protect themselves because they injure your stomach lining because they're very sharp proteins. And so this keeps the bugs and the predators away from the plants. But algae started in the ocean, so it's not a land plant. It's never had to protect itself from predators. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that
All
so
these great
much.
little, I feel like I've got a little Einstein on my hands. It's like, oh my God, you do that too?
Yeah.
We're sort of like a little puppy adoption agency. Every time we sell a bag of our tablets, it's like, go out there and do great work, algae.
Yes,
because
that's so
it
cute.
will amaze people once they start taking it. Yeah.
So do you feel like 15 years ago, obviously nobody was talking about algae or spirulina or any of this. Do you feel like the world has come so far? Because now you're saying post-COVID era, people understand they have to take care of their health.
They understand they have to take care of their health, but they still, I'd say 0.001% of people outside of Asia know about spirulina and chlorella. Everybody in Asia knows about it. The Japanese, that's where it started. They don't leave their house without taking chlorella. But we have a very long road yet to go. Some people know it's a superfood and they put it in their smoothie, but they have no idea of the medicinal and healing properties of spirulina and chlorella, which are all documented in almost 100,000 studies. I think there's almost too much science. It's so overwhelming. So
It's surprising with all the science that so many people still don't know?
Well, it's complicated unless you really, because I had to teach myself the science and then I got the PhD. It's cell biology and mitochondrial biology and understanding your own biology. It's very complicated, but as you learn more about how your body works, you become mesmerized because we are perfection. Nature has made us so perfect, and everything works well when you give your body what it needs and remove what it doesn't. The problem is we have so many toxins. The average adult has like 700 toxins in their body, so that interferes with your body working properly. And our soils are so overcropped, or people are eating so much processed foods that they aren't getting the nutrition. So it's a double whammy of why people are getting sick, and it's happening earlier and earlier. So those are the environmental issues. And also, by the time once you hit 40, your body and your biology change. And there are certain things that your body used to make for you after the age of 40 that it doesn't make anymore. It doesn't make much of. And one of them is melatonin, which is why people, as they get older, have a hard time sleeping. Your body, for women, it stops making estrogen, which also acts as a protector for your mitochondria. And it doesn't make an antioxidant called superoxide dismutase, which I'll talk about in greater detail, because it protects your mitochondria the most.
Okay.
And the highest concentration in the universe is found in spirulina. And nobody knows that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. So we'll do a deep dive on that. So I'm excited to help people understand that we can age well, because you don't want to live long if you're going to live with damaged health, and your health is your wealth. Really, it really is that simple. So I want to help give people a recipe to understand what it is that they need, so they can go out and get it, and then follow the recipe. Some people tell me that they noticed if they ran out of the spirulina, they noticed how their energy dropped much. Because they got so used to having that energy that they assumed that it was just there naturally, and it wasn't. So it's something that you don't want to take occasionally. This should be a foundational food that you have forever. But the good news is you can eliminate a multivitamin, a fish oil, a collagen powder, a CoQ10. You can eliminate a lot of other supplements. So you'll save time and money, and it's food. We call our tablets bits because they're bits of food. There is nothing else in there. And your body knows what to do with food.
Totally. Wow. So that's so fascinating. I love learning all this. I have loved spirulina since day one. My audience knows this. I was making spirulina smoothies and juices in 2010. I just love the taste, and I'm like very drawn to it. So it's fantastic that it has all of these benefits and so much protein.
You're so healthy, and you look so healthy. Your skin just glows. And I can tell how someone's body is on the inside from their skin, because your skin is an organ, right? It is the largest and most visible organ on your body. And it's a representative of what's going on with your other organs. And so I call spirulina in particular, we have another brand called EnergyBits, but beauty is an inside job because your skin is nourished by your blood. And so if it's getting proper nourishment, yes, the topicals are important, but the nourishment from the inside is even more important. So this gives your body all the nourishment and your skin all the nourishment it needs to stay optimal.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So cool. I cannot wait to start giving this to my kids and my cat and my husband.
Yes.
So tell us about what was it that you brought up? The name of
dismutase?
No. Yes, that. I'm like, oh, it's a foreign language to me.
I know.
Tell us
it's
all about it.
It's also known as SOD, which is a shorter word, easier to understand. So, so the interesting thing is, we have been on Earth for 2 million years, and on average, until about 200 years ago, we lived to about 30, thereabouts. And you can go in online and read all this. So for 2 million years, we've lived till 30. So our biology and our evolutionary biology has prepared us to die around 30. Mother Nature is very intelligent. So she is not going to have our bodies making things that if we're going to die at 30. So this is one of the reasons why things like melatonin start to slow down after the age of 30 or 40. why estrogen slows down, because if you're dead, you're not going to be making any babies. And there's this other nutrient, and it's an antioxidant called superoxide dismutase. It also slows down, and by the time you're 40, your body is basically making none of it, although it was making it for you from the moment you're born. So what does this stuff do, and why is it so important? Well, I'll give you a bit of a science lesson here. You've probably heard of free radicals. Free radicals are very damaging because they are a molecule that has an unpaired electron, and nature loves balance. And so a free radical will steal an electron from a neighboring molecule, which causes tissue damage and leaves it unbalanced. So then it steals an electron from another. So this is how you get tissue damage. But there's these things called antioxidants that have extra electrons. And so they're like the kid that goes to school with extra lunches to give them away to kids that didn't have any. So antioxidants normally neutralize free radicals. The problem is in your mitochondria, which are where all of your cellular energy is made. It's called ATP. And when I talk about cellular energy, it's not just energy to run to the grocery store or to have a great workout. It's your neurotransmitters, it's your lymphatic system, it's your heartbeat, it's your digestion. Everything in your body requires this stuff called cellular energy, also known as ATP. And all of it is made by these things called the mitochondria. Think of them as, in a building you have lights, and if you had a power shortage, you couldn't do any work because the lights were out. In your body, your mitochondria are not just the lights, they're also the electricity. So they keep everything in your body working. And so you need as many of them as possible, and you need them to be working, because when they are diminished in quantity and quality, it's like having a power shortage. So these mitochondria, when they're making this cellular energy, they are located exactly where, they are inside the mitochondria, which has two membranes. Normally, an antioxidant can get into a cell because it goes through the membrane, but the mitochondria has a second membrane that is impenetrable by most antioxidants. So in the process of making this cellular energy, you have a byproduct called free radicals. It's just the way it is. And the type of free radical that's in the mitochondria is called superoxide, and it's very, very damaging. Now, it can't be neutralized by your regular antioxidants because they can't get in there. Only this one called superoxide dismutase can neutralize it. Dismutase means to dismantle. So this antioxidant dismantles the free radical, neutralizes it, and turns it into water and oxygen, so the mitochondria are saved, so they can keep generating cellular energy, so you can keep the lights on in your brain and in your body. And everything works until you're 30. And then your body slows down the production of this superoxide dismutase, and then by 40 or 45, you have none. And the best way to think about superoxide dismutase, I made the analogy of a golf umbrella. You know, everyone's seen those big golf umbrellas. They're enormous, right? And whether you're shopping or golfing, if you get stuck in a rainstorm, you pop up that good golf umbrella. Now, you haven't stopped the rain, but you stop getting wet because it's so big, right? So superoxide dismutase doesn't stop the free radicals, but it stops them from hitting the mitochondria because it turns them into water and oxygen. So you're good to go. But by the time you're 40, that big golf umbrella is now about the size of a totes umbrella. So your mitochondria are dodging free radicals, they're getting a little hit, not too bad. And then by the time you're 40, 45, that golf umbrella is about the size of a cocktail umbrella. So now the free radicals are hitting the mitochondria constantly, which causes them to die, to diminish in quantity, diminish in quality of production. This is when chronic disease starts to kick in. This is when accelerated aging kicks in. This is when you get brain fog. This is when you get weight gain. This is when you get fatigue. Everything, all these issues, heart disease, cancer, inflammation, all these things, if you notice, kick in after the age of 40 or 45. And I believe, and the science seems to agree with this, that's because we're getting damaged mitochondria after that age. So what can we do about it? I have the answer. You just need to get some superoxide dismutase back in there.
Yeah.
And spirulina has the highest concentration of it.
Oh my God.
But here's the trick. It can't be just any spirulina, because this superoxide dismutase is not just an antioxidant, it's also an enzyme. And all enzymes are deactivated by high heat over Fahrenheit 114. And most of other algae companies that have lower priced algae, they use high heat to dry it, to cut corners so they can get to market quickly. And that deactivates the superoxide dismutase. So it's like buying a really fabulous car at a really great price, except you lift the hood and there's no engine.
Yeah.
It wasn't such a smart deal. So we want people to get the full value of this protective antioxidant, and it's alive in ours. You could get frozen or fresh spirulina because it also has not been exposed to high heat. And we've done clinical trials on this, and it's amazing what this does for your mitochondria. And I know a lot of people aren't familiar with mitochondria, but I really encourage them to go online and learn about it, or come to our website, EnergyBits.com, because we have a lot of science that explains what it is. And if you just understand that it's the thing in your cells that generate life for you, they keep you alive. It's that simple. And so you need to keep them alive. And the best way to do that is to ensure that you have adequate superoxide dismutase to protect them.
Wow. That's so good to know.
Yeah.
That's crazy that I've never heard that word before. And I'm so into health and longevity. Yeah. Never heard of it.
There's
so
25,000 studies showing that superoxide dismutase is proven to reduce inflammation, prevent dementia, Alzheimer's, heart disease, every single.
So we all need to be taking this. I need to get my parents taking this. Absolutely. Everybody. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly,
thank you for that.
Spirulina for brain health, because there's so much mental health issues now and dementia.
Totally.
And this works so well. In fact, I now call spirulina brain food because your brain has the most mitochondria in your neurotransmitters. I've got the science references to prove this. There's 2 million mitochondria per cell. And you have trillions of cells in your body, and there's 2 million mitochondria per cell in your brain.
Wow.
So when you start getting your mitochondria working again, the first thing that works is your brain. It's like turning the lights back on, literally.
Oh my gosh, what a good feeling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so pivoting a little, I want to hear about your spiritual practices, because clearly you're so into longevity and feeling well, and you're so youthful. And I think spirituality is such a huge piece of all of this.
It is, actually. In fact, you'll chuckle because algae, spirulina, is a cyanobacteria, and it was the first life on Earth. Nobody knows why it started growing, but 4 billion years ago it did. So I now call spirulina spiritualina.
Oh, I love that. That's so cute, and it totally fits.
Right. First life on Earth. I mean, there's something spiritual about that.
Very, very spiritual.
Yes, and I've probably got a library of about 200 books. I have been trying to understand life, and I will say probably the most influential book on my life is something called A Course in Miracles. I have read it 3 times. I now just read my notes that I wrote. I must have filled 10 books, because you know, it's very comprehensive, and it's very difficult to read, and you have to be in the right mindset. But it really has helped me a lot, because I'm following a path I would never have dreamed that I would be doing. And the only reason and way I was able to pursue this is because I listened to the quiet voice inside me, which is your soul. And your ego will always be loud and cause fear, and you'll always be worried about, you're always influenced by outside things. Your soul and your spirit will always whisper, and it's always internal. And it takes a while to develop the trust to listen to it, and it will never steer you wrong, but the choices it asks you to make are usually quite different than what your family thinks you should be taking, your age or society. And yet if you listen to it, you will reach a state of peace that is incomprehensible. And I am so lucky and grateful that I have achieved this, because there is nothing else I really truly want to do except bring this to the world because I know this is my path, and it's so bizarre how I stumbled into it. It made no sense whatsoever. I wasn't trained for it. I wasn't expecting it, but it brings me a lot of joy, and it brings me a lot of peace. So, and in fact, it's truly. People say I'm in love with algae, and I wrote this little booklet, the Algae Love Story, because love makes you feel whole. Love gives you energy. Love makes you feel safe. Love gives you inspiration to engage with life, and algae does pretty much all of that as well. So yes, this is very much a spiritual journey for me, and it helps connect all the dots for me. Because when I was younger, I traveled all around the world when I graduated from my undergrad, trying to figure out, what's going on in the world. And I was I just had my knapsack, and I was just by myself, and it was interesting, but I didn't answer my questions. So I just kept reading books, and it's I have quite a library now, and I love all of these people, and they all have an interesting perspective that helps fill the gaps for me. Abraham Hicks, right?
Yeah, the best.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's amazing.
So it all makes sense to me, and it makes sense to me that I'm the one that, I argued with the universe when I was listening to this quiet voice, and I kept saying, find somebody who knows science. Like, I don't know any science. Please find somebody else. Nope, it was not going to let me give it up.
This was your path. Yeah. The intuition will always make itself so known.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I think you'll probably agree with this too, is that when you are following your path, you have to completely trust that this is where you should be. But here's the thing. You will never be given the full answer. You will just be given a doorway, and you have to trust that you can go through that doorway, and when you cross that threshold, the next doorway will appear. And so it's just these series of mini steps that you need to be taking that indicate to the universe, okay, I trust you. Okay, I don't know the answer, but I'm still doing this, and it will show up. But you have to believe that. And our ego will tell us we need to know all the answers now. We have to do all the analysis, and you have to use spreadsheets, and you have to have all the analytical whatever. And even with my company, we hire first from the heart, because you can't teach people how to have integrity and to care. You can teach them skills, but you can't teach that. And so,
totally.
So everything we do at EnergyBits is to care for people, and I care for my team, and it makes me very proud that we have a fabulous company and fabulous people, and we all are working together to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, you should be proud. It's incredible. Wow. Okay. I love it. Well, tell everyone where they can find you.
Well, EnergyBits.com is the website. We have a discount code to give your listeners, and
it's Balanced Blonde.
I thought it was.
Looked at it right before we walked in.
Thank you. And it works on everything. And the spirulina is in blue packaging because it's a blue-green algae. So I wanted people to understand. If some people would say, I take 2 of the blue and 2 of the green, so whatever it takes.
That's the best way to put it.
That's the one that will give you energy and focus throughout the day for workouts. And the green one is the chlorella. It's a wellness detoxing algae, builds your immune system. It also has the highest tryptophan in the world, which helps you sleep. And sleep, again, is where you do all your repair and your detox. So I consider spirulina your nutritional insurance because it fills all the nutritional gaps that people have. And I refer to chlorella, which we call EnergyBits, as your health insurance because it builds your immune system, pulls out your toxins. So the two of them work really well together. So it's, but if you were to had to make a choice and start with one, I usually steer people towards the spirulina because you will notice a difference within half an hour. Mother Nature is here to look after us, and my nickname has become the Algae Gal.
I totally believe it.
Yeah.
Do you have an Instagram for yourself?
I just created one. It's Catharine Arnston.
Okay, because I was gonna say the algae gal would be such a cute name.
Yeah. And my last year, my team was saying, "Oh, we should call you the algae queen or the algae."
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to be the algae queen because royalty is separate from people. But you think about the gal next door. The gal next door was for everybody, and algae's for everybody. So I said, I'm going to be the algae gal. So
that's so perfect.
But EnergyBits.com is the website. Lots of great information, even if you don't want to purchase anything. But I promise you, this will make a difference in your children's lives, your life, your parents' life, and they're quite different algae. So you need to be sure you're getting the right one.
Mm-hmm. Wow, fantastic. Thank you. This was so informative and so educational. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
fantastic.
Welcome. Well, it's been waiting 4 billion years to be understood.
It has been.
I'm just the voice of algae.
Now you're here, the algae gal. I love
the algae
it.
gal.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.